Welcome to the Sales Dojo podcast. The podcasts are here to help you address the real issues salespeople face every single day.
Hey, welcome back to the Sales Dojo podcast. Podcast here to help you hit your targets, earn more commission, go and buy yourself those new shoes. My name's Chris Dawson.
I'm Leon McCowan.
I'm sure everybody knows that after episode 403 or whatever this is, Leon.
Sure.
Leon, super excited today. We're joined all the way from Miami by Dre Baldwin. Dre is owner of Work on Your Game Incorporated. If I've said that wrong, Dre, please shoot me now. But Dre, welcome on the podcast, pal.
I'm excited to be here, Chris and Leon. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. It's a shame we've only got 30 odd minutes for you to share your wisdom and have a chat. People aren't here to listen to me and Leon. They've heard enough from us. They're here to listen to you, Dre. If they like what they're hearing straight away, where should they go? Where can they find your website? Where can they find you on social media? Where should they look you up?
They can go to workonyourgame.com, and on social, I'm on every app. Just look up my name, Dre Baldwin. So I don't have that name on every platform, but I'm public and I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah, I found you pretty quickly there. Dre, you've got quite an impressive back catalogue from sports career, author, podcaster, general top bloke. Tell us a little bit, just the headlines about Work on Your Game.
Sure. It came from my background as a professional athlete. I was putting basketball content on YouTube back before it was YouTube. So I started playing in 2005. So that about 5-year period from 2005 to 2010, I was putting out basketball content. Players started asking me questions about mindset, and I started talking about things like discipline, confidence, mental toughness. And the players really liked that. And when I started talking about those things, pulled from the sports experience, people who didn't play sports, Chris, started finding that material and said, hey, this stuff applies to me too, and I don't even play sports. So that told me, hey, I can just extract the mindset piece that helps athletes get to that top 2% level. And it looks like people who don't play sports need it as well. And then as I transitioned out of sports and started meeting people who actually worked with those non-athletes, they told me, like, Dre, this is gold, because people love working with former athletes, because discipline, confidence, mental toughness, same things you need in sales, same things you need in the professional world, they need it over there. So if you can find a way to translate this so that they can understand it, there's a lot of value in it. So I stopped playing in 2015, and this is what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
It's awesome. There's so many analogies, and we'll go into it in a bit, I'm sure, about sports and business. I just want to go back to this, like YouTube, before it was YouTube, 2005, that's pretty forward thinking to start creating video content back there. What was the driver behind that for you, Dre?
Well, the driver was, going back further in the story, in college, I played basketball at this Division III school. So anybody who understands the sports landscape, Division III is the third tier of college sports. So in America, most of the athletes that you see on TV, they came out of Division I colleges. Those are the most talented players coming out of high school. They get drafted, they got chosen to go play Division I. I wasn't that talented coming out of high school, so I ended up in the basement at Division III. And most of the players there don't go pro. Maybe we all talk about it, but most of us don't make it. I actually was able to make it. And the only way I was able to make it is because what I did after graduating, Leon and Chris, is I went to this event called an exposure camp. An exposure camp is like a job fair, but it's for athletes. Now, the normal job fair, you bring your resume and you wear a suit and you shake hands and basically try to talk your way into a job interview. At an exposure camp, it's similar, except you're not just talking. You bring your sneakers and you play. So imagine 200 guys who all think they should be playing pro basketball, but we either are not, or we want a better opportunity than what we've currently got. We all show up and we're all trying to prove that we're good enough for a better job, or a job, period. I was trying to get a job. And it's kind of like a casting call. You think a bunch of models showing up trying to get chosen for America's Next Top Model, something like this, like that. Or America's Got Talent, American Idol, it's like that. So I went to one of those events, played pretty well. And at this event, the good thing is they gave you all the footage. So all the games you play in, everything you do, they put it on tape and they give it to you. And when I say they put it on tape, I mean literally on tape. It was a VHS tape. You two remember those, the VHS? So the footage was on a VHS tape. And because I knew that tape, if you leave it in the sun, you drop it in water, or you lose it, you lose your footage. I needed it somewhere for safekeeping that I knew would always be around. And this is right around the time, this is 2005. This is right around the time when the digital world started to change. I guess you can call this Web 2.0. And there was this new website that said, hey, you can put as much footage up here as you want for free. And that was YouTube. So I took that VHS tape, took it to an audiovisual store. They put it onto a data CD, and I could upload that footage to YouTube. So that's how I got started on YouTube. Not because I was trying to build a brand, because that was not a thing. What I was doing was just getting that VHS footage online because I didn't think the internet was going to disappear the way a VHS tape might disappear. So that's why I put it up there. 6 months later, people were commenting on the video like, hey, who are you? Where do you play? Who taught you how to play? That told me that the little bit I was showing on that footage, I looked to the average person like I could really play, and they wanted to learn more from me. So I decided, well, I go to the gym every day anyway. Why not just take this cheap little $100 camera that I had at the time? Because this is before we had video cameras on our phones. So why not just take this camera with me to the gym every day and just record my workouts, and I'll just put them up on YouTube. So that's what I started doing. And it wasn't until about 2008 that I realized like, hey, this might be a thing. And I started doing it more intentionally and more consistently.
It feels like you've got another book in you there, Dre, which is The Accidental Influencer. I'm sure that's something you can get out there at some point. There's a couple of things. We haven't even started on our questions, which is interesting. And that shows you how cool what you're saying is, because we're digging into all the other bits. But there was a couple of things on it. One, you wanted the videotape so you could watch and listen. Chris and I have been recording podcasts all day today. And one of the themes that we've been talking about is listening back to your calls, listening back to your meetings, having a look at your Zoom meetings and seeing how you can improve. And I love that you were doing that early on. I have a question for you, if it's okay. You went in that room with 200 people, which is what a lot of our listeners will be doing. They'll be going up against lots of competition. They might be going in for an interview with lots of people. What was the mindset stuff that you were doing at that point to make sure that you didn't flop?
Great question. So the first thing, Leon, is do your homework. So I tell professionals all the time, they think homework ends when you get out of school. No, homework begins when you get out of school. That's why graduation is called commencement. And commencement means the beginning, not the end. So the homework for an athlete is obviously you practice, you train. If I tell you somebody's an athlete, what are you doing every day? You're probably going to say they're in the gym or on the track or in the pool or on the field, wherever it is that they practice, you practice. So I knew I had game. I had worked on my game. So I knew I had skills to perform. Now, when you get to the event, of course, the challenge is now you're in front of all these people. You're in this foreign environment. How do you bring yourself to perform? So mentally, I'd already started getting myself ready. So as athletes is one of the things we do. Salespeople, the same thing. We mentally get into the right zone so that we can go out there and perform. And this is the reason why you play high school, then college, then pro. So when you get there, you have some experience being under the lights, as we say. So once I got there to the event, I had an idea what it was going to be, because I knew a couple other people who were going there. And when I got there, I saw all the people who were there. And I just reminded myself, first of all, I know what I'm capable of. I know the work that I put in. And I'm sure all these other players probably are thinking the same thing. And at the same time, I knew that you had to pay to go to these events. So this is not you just walk in. This is a $250 investment. It was a lot of money when you're out of college, in which you didn't make any money. This is before name, image, and likeness. And you're not a pro yet. So you haven't made any money yet. So you're pretty much broke, but trying to make it. Right. So $250 is a big investment for me. And I said to myself, if I don't make something work with this $250, I don't know when my next opportunity might be, if any. Because remember, Division III college player. So it's not like I got a bunch of people knocking down my door. So my mindset was get the ball and do something. If you mess up, you mess up, but do something so that this investment and this time that you put into this, you at least have some opportunity to be remembered. And that's what I went out there thinking. And then I just let my skills take over.
I can see the Netflix film coming out very soon of the Dre Baldwin story here. Something you just said at the end is, you've got your game, you went out and you just let your skills take over. Mm-hmm. That sounded like it's almost an unconscious thing once you're out there. You're on your game, you've practiced, you've rehearsed, you've got everything going. Then you said you just got out there and let your skills take over. How to try and, sorry, everybody who's listening to a sales podcast here, I've just realized we're engrossed in this, Dre. How do you see that comparing to the business world or the sales world? I'm just feeling from years of being on the phone, making sales calls, sometimes it is that phone rings, they answer, and your skills just take over, or you go in that meeting and your skills just take over. Would you class that as a muscle memory thing happening on the court?
Yeah, or we can just call it instinct. And that's absolutely what it is. The same thing that happens in sales. So I used to tell basketball players this all the time, because players will watch their favorite players on TV. Let's say it's Derrick Rose or Kyrie Irving or Kobe Bryant. And they would come to me. This is when I was very heavy on YouTube, and they would say, well, Dre, can you show me how to do the move like Kyrie Irving did in the game last night, or like LeBron James did? And I could show them how to do it, but I also would explain to them that when you get in the game, because you can't just think about, hey, I'm going to do the LeBron move now. All right, because by the time you think about doing the move, the opportunity to do the move is gone. It's kind of like boxing. Like since I stopped playing basketball, I like boxing. And in boxing ring, you can't think about what punch you're going to throw, because by the time you think about it, you got to hit in the face 3 times. All right, you don't have time to think about it. You have to it has to be instinctive. So you have to train the muscle memory to do the thing so that when the thing happens, you do it without having to think about it at all. And it's the exact same thing that happens in sales, is that, as you two said, you look back over your sales calls and you listen to what you said and you note how you responded to a certain objection, or the person said this and you did that, and you train yourself for it so that the next time it occurs, you can respond instinctively without having to think consciously about what to do, because instincts are faster than conscious thinking. Conscious thinking is very quick, but it's not as fast as instinct. Instinct happens with no thought. The amount of time it takes to think about something and then do it, it adds time to the situation. And in a sales conversation, I mean, you two probably know very well, I tell people the same thing. In a sales conversation, you should be so prepared that it doesn't even sound like you're following a process or a script. Just sounds like you're having a conversation, but you know there's a script, but your prospect doesn't know. And if somebody was watching, unless you told them, they wouldn't even know that you're following the script. That's because you've done your homework.
I love that. You got to practice so hard that you just make it look dead easy.
Right.
It reminds me, we were doing some role play exercises with the team this week, and real basic stuff, but the basics you've got to get right. And it was, we'll say an objection, you give us your reply, and we'd say the objection, and they were all pausing with their heads down. They were, well, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm just scripting out what I'm going to say. I was like, no, not in the real world. Like, that should be done. Like, the prospect's not going to go, no, I'm not interested, just send me an email, and then give you 2 minutes to write a script. It's that instinct, isn't it? Yeah. As you said, you've already been hit 3 times. Could we fast forward this a bit into the now then? Tell us a bit about how you've taken all this hard work and this amazing stuff that you've done. How do you help people or businesses in the now?
The main thing we help people do now, if we take the end game of all the stuff that I do, is really helping people learn how to command the room, and through presence, performance, and discipline. And that's all to get people to the top 2% of performance. And the reason why I describe it that way, Leon and Chris, is because over the years, of course, we started with the mindset piece, as I already told you, and people knew that I used to play sports. As I started working with non-athletes, a lot of entrepreneurs, business professionals, and salespeople, of course, they ask questions about business and how do I start my business and sell a product and build a sales funnel and do a sales call and all these other things I help people with. I work with people who are in finance, accounting, real estate, food, service, clothing businesses, all different types of businesses. And the thing that I realized, guys, was that the people who were coming to me weren't coming to me for a specific tactical skill. What they were coming to me for was just the way that I'm able to, again, my presence, the way I'm able to present myself, present my offers, present what I do. And it's applicable no matter what industry you happen to be in. Good news is, for this being a Sales Dojo podcast, that we're all in sales. Everybody's in sales. I tell people you're either good at it or bad at it, but you can't avoid being a salesperson. You ever been on a date? You've been on a job interview. You were making a sale. You either closed it or you didn't, but there is a sale going on at all times. So what I help people do is, of course, the conscious things that people think about. How can I be more disciplined? How can I be more confident? How can I build my business? How can I make more money? How can I be more consistent? Of course, everybody wants all those things, but why do you want to do all those things? People don't want to be disciplined just to be disciplined. People don't want to be confident just to be confident. People don't want to make money just to make money. They want to do all those things. So at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, when you walk into a room, you have a certain energy, a certain presence, a certain aura that other people can feel, and they know who you are and they know what you're about without you having to say a word. And not only do they know it, but you know it. That's the main thing that we do now.
So I want to zoom in on the confidence piece here, if you don't mind, Dre. And this isn't about putting you to the test. It's something me and Leon
Sure,
here
go
an
for it.
awful lot. I'm not going to talk for you, Leon, but people may approach for coaching, for training, for workshops, whatever it is, and they all have an end goal in mind, often just to tick a box to say that they've done it. We get that, but we won't deal with that. I would say in the top 3 things we get asked about is, I want to feel more confident, or the flip of that, I don't feel confident enough. As if
That's right.
we could sell them a box of confidence flakes, and if they eat them every morning, off they go. And it's an ethereal thing, just doesn't really exist, does it?
Should sell it. You make a lot of money.
You've heard it here first. That's
Yeah.
gonna be on X and LinkedIn really soon. Confidence flakes. When people talk to you about the confidence piece, could you just tell us a bit around just your take on that?
Absolutely.
Might help somebody who's thinking, yeah, that sounds like me.
Absolutely. Anytime I'm talking to a live audience, online or offline, and I ask the audience if you could change any internal trait of yours, it has to be intangible, something that you can't touch, feel, or measure, and it has to be internal. What is it? Answer is always the same thing. More confidence, more self-esteem, a healthier self-image. Everybody wants that. Every athlete wants it. Every man wants it in dating. Every woman wants it when she's out. Every salesperson wants it. Every entrepreneur, everybody wants more confidence. And I work with people who are making barely getting to 6 figures, and people who are making high 6 figures, people into the 8 figures of their businesses. They all want more confidence. This is a universal desire. Now, why do people, first, let's back up. First of all, where does confidence come from? First thing we have to do is define what confidence is. Confidence is your ability, your belief in your ability to do a thing. Now, where does that come from? And a lot of people get this wrong. This is why a lot of people come up short on confidence, Chris and Leon, is that confidence does not come from faking it. There's no faking it till you make it. That's a misnomer. It's an oxymoron. And confidence is not something that you're just randomly born with. Actually, technically, it's false. Everybody's born with confidence, but it's socialized out of us. So by the time we become adults, we're not confident anymore. Right? A 3-year-old is very confident. But by the time we get to 12, 15, 25, we get taught to not be confident. So confidence, the real source of it is discipline. Discipline creates confidence. When you are consistently showing up and doing your job and doing your homework, as we talked about, you build a belief and a muscle internally that you can do a certain thing, and you carry yourself a certain way. And a big thing about confidence, Chris and Leon, is that confidence is very much a self-fulfilling cycle. When you show up confidently, people look at you and treat you as if you're confident. And when people are treating you as if you're confident, you feel more confident, and it basically serves itself. And the exact thing happens when you do it the wrong way. You show up as not confident, people treat you like you're not confident, and you feel less confident, and it goes exactly in the opposite direction. This is why they say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's the scientific law of inertia, just working in 2 different directions, momentum and stagnation. So when it comes to confidence, the biggest thing that people need to understand about it, and the biggest reason people want it, is a better way of saying it, is because confidence gives you that very presence that I was just talking about. Like if either of you, and I was just talking to a coaching client about this 2 weeks ago, if either of you was in an airport or you're at the mall, any place where there's people moving around, and you just stood and watched the people moving about, and I asked you, hey, Leon or Chris, just point out the confident people as they walk by. Both of you could very accurately, with 100% accuracy, point out the most confident people. Just watching them walk by without seeing them. They don't have to say anything. They don't have to even look at you. You don't have to know anything about them. You can point out confidence in a person. Now, how do you know? You can tell by their body language. You can tell by their energy. You can tell by the look in their eyes. There's an aura that people emanate when they're confident. That's what people want. Because when you have that level of confidence, both of you are in sales. You know this very well, that you close more deals in sales by your energy than by your words. It's not the script that closes the deal. Yes, you need to follow the script. Yes, you need to have a process, but it's how does the prospect feel about you? I tell entrepreneurs and salespeople this all the time. If they don't trust you and they don't believe you, it doesn't matter what you say. You're not closing that sale. If they do trust you and believe you, you can be selling some garbage and you'll probably make a few sales just because of who you are. It's who you are that makes the deal work. It's not what you have. And a lot of people focus so much on the what, not enough on the who. And that's what confidence is all about. It's all about the who.
Would you say then it's more physiological and psychological in terms of confidence, Dre?
1000%. Yes.
Yeah, I asked because someone asked me the question the other day, and Chris and I have always used the difference between confident and not confident is about 1 inch. It's the inch that you lift your chin up. It's the inch that you put your shoulders back. And this person I was chatting to was not having that and decided it needed to do some more. But it's something that I often see when people like. I love the example that you say about in the airport or where people are, and I can use that to back up the point. But it's something I often see, and I think that's possibly where the fake it till you make it thing comes from, in that maybe you are just going to make yourself feel a little bit more confident by putting it back. But I agree with you. You can't, or you certainly can't blag it till you make it. That's kind of different, isn't it?
Yes. And the thing is, you're right, is that one is difference because the fake it till you make it, there's a detail in there, and I'll go into it since you brought it up here, Leon, is that first of all, the subconscious mind, we have to understand how that works. That's really what confidence is, how your subconscious mind is programmed. It's not what you're consciously thinking. So people who are listening to this right now, you're consciously processing what I'm saying. That's about 15% of your thought process is that. The other 85% of your thoughts are subconscious, meaning you don't even know that you're thinking it, but you're thinking it. The subconscious mind is working even when you're sleeping. So the programming of the subconscious is really where your confidence or lack of confidence comes from. And the subconscious is altered in three and only three ways. One is repetition, two is immersion, and three is emotionalization. So when it comes to the fake it till you make it concept, the problem with faking it until you make it is that as soon as you tell yourself, I'm going to pretend to be this or that, I'm going to pretend to be Michael Jordan or Steph Curry or Jay-Z or Beyonce, whoever it is that you like, the subconscious mind immediately rejects the concept, meaning it doesn't burn into who you are as a person. You can still do it, but it rejects the concept, meaning it will not become a permanent thing because as soon as you say I'm faking it, that means it has to end. It's like the story of Cinderella, right? And Cinderella, they told her, you got the beautiful gown on, but when the clock strikes 12, you're going back to those rags. All right, that's what happens when you say you're faking it till you make it. If instead you say, I'm going to borrow the energy of my favorite, whatever person you like. Give me a famous person that your audience would know who's a person that has a lot of confidence.
Virgil van Dijk.
Virgil van Dijk. I don't know who that is, but let's say Virgil van Dijk. Okay. So Virgil van Dijk, I'm going to borrow his energy. I'm not going to try to be him, but I'm going to borrow his energy. How would he walk into the room? How would he carry himself? How would he get on a call? How would he respond when somebody walks up to him at the mall when he's standing in line at the food court? And you adopt that energy, it's still you being you. You're just going to borrow that guy's energy. You borrow that energy, you embody it, you walk around with it. Now that you've done it, now you have yourself as an example that a subconscious mind can get with that. The subconscious mind can accept that because it's you being you at a higher level is not you being somebody else. The subconscious mind will not accept you becoming someone who you're not. So that's really where the confidence comes from. And you can't tell yourself that you're faking it. You tell yourself that you're becoming it. And I use an example that when I talk to audiences, I'll tell you to this one real quick. A basketball player. He was in high school. He was maybe the 10th best player on the team. Now, basketball team has about 12 guys. So on his best day, he's mediocre. Coach comes in one day and says, in practice today, each of you is going to pretend to be somebody else on the team. All right, so he went down the line and told each player, you're going to be him, you be him, you be him. And the whole purpose of the experiment, the coach explained, was that I want each of you to show each other who you are as a player, so that you don't think I'm the one as a coach always berating you. Your teammates are going to show you the same thing I yell at you about. They're going to show you that you do it. So whatever the guy you're supposed to be, whatever he does well, you do it. And whatever he does poorly, you do that too. And of course, they're going to exaggerate it. And the players are kind of getting the idea of what they're supposed to do. And they're all kind of looking at each other, smiling like, this will be fun. And this guy, the storyteller, his name is Tucker. His assignment is to be his teammate, Mike. Now, again, Tucker's the 10th best player on the team. His teammate, Mike, just happened to be the best player on the team. Mike was the leading scorer on the team. He already had a scholarship to go play Division I college ball. So let me ask you two, Leon and Chris, how well do you think Tucker played in practice that day?
I suspect he was better than Mike.
Chris, what do you think?
I really hope that's where the story's going. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I always ask the audiences, and the opinions always split. But Tucker played amazingly that day. He played the best basketball of his life. And he said he was taking shots that he never even thought of attempting. He was making shots his teammates never saw him do. He was doing all kinds of moves. His teammates are looking at him slack-jawed, like, where's this coming from? Because he never did this. And that's the super you. I'll call that the super you. That's our framework for confidence. And that's when you embody the energy of someone else, but you're still being yourself. And the reason why I use this, actually, let me back up. When that practice ended, the coach goes to Tucker and he says, man, if that's what it takes, you need to pretend to be Mike every day. And that's stepping into the super you. And the reason why I use this example is because in basketball, you can't fake the ball going in the basket. All right. That's not faking it till you make it. That actually happened. And that's why it's different. That's why I use it as an example to let people know that you can't fake it when you're really doing a thing. And the key to that confidence is not adding on. A lot of people think to get better at something or to do more of something or to be more of anything, they have to add on, get more information, read another book, take another course, when really what they need to do is start stripping away. It's addition by subtraction. And what confidence is really about is giving yourself permission to stop being the person you've always been. When you stop conforming to that person you were yesterday and decide I'm stepping into a new role, That can change a whole lot of things really quickly.
Hey, if we all could completely control that little voice inside our heads, what an amazing world it would be. Hey, Dre.
Well, that's the subconscious mind. So you can control it.
There's a flip to this, isn't there? And we see this a lot in the world nowadays. We're talking about fake it till you make it. And equally, would you say the human brain has the capacity to spot when somebody's faking it? Be it a entrepreneur, a snake oil salesperson, that sheen of confidence, that sheen of you can me, but it is fake. They're trying to fake it to influence somebody or whatever. We see so much online, don't we now, of, they're sat in their private jet, which is a cardboard cutout, and, with the fake bling on, and they're doing all this, and it's clearly trying to influence us. If we can't fake it to make it ourselves, is this the same part of the brain, would you say, Dre, that spots somebody else is trying to fake it to influence us?
Well, I'll tell you, Chris, I live in Miami, and sometimes those things are real, but it doesn't mean it's theirs. See, that's the next level. So the thing is, and the answer to your question is absolutely we can spot it. Human beings, we have a sixth sense for when something doesn't quite add up. Now, the challenge is either of you, I'll give you an example, maybe you'll know it. Either you've seen the TV show Shark Tank?
I know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay, so on the show Shark Tank, there's a woman there named Barbara Corcoran. She runs a big real estate company in America. And every once in a while on the show, the sharks will be listening to the entrepreneur who's pitching, and she'll say, there's something about you that I just don't trust. It's like a cliffhanger. Then they'll go to commercial and come back. And that's the sixth sense. Now, Barbara is very sharp. She's worked with a lot of people, so she can explain it. She can articulate it. A lot of times with the everyday person, we can notice, and all of you have had this experience, both of you I'm sure have, when something is just off about a person. They're presenting one thing, but there's something that just doesn't sit right with you, and you can't even articulate what it is, but it's just something inside of you. Your instinct is telling you something's off about this person, but you can't quite say what it is. You can't even consciously say it to yourself what it is, but you know something is off. And we all can get that feeling about a person, and we can tell when somebody's faking it. And when something is real and somebody really is it, then usually, in my experience, because I talk about presence a lot, that person doesn't try as hard, because you don't have to try. You're just it. You're just being it. The example I give to people is you take someone like LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. They both spent their entire careers trying to emulate where Michael Jordan was at, and Michael Jordan was never trying. He didn't try. He just was. And those guys tried, and neither one of them was able to measure up, even though they were trying and he wasn't. That's the difference between actually having the presence and you're trying to have the presence. And there is a difference. It may be a small difference, but there is a difference.
Yeah, some people want to look rich. Some people want to be rich. There's a huge
That's right.
between the two. Dre, we'd love to spend all afternoon in Miami, evening here in the UK chatting to you. But we know people are getting to meetings, they're getting to offices, they're getting to homes listening to this. Dre, let's go in a situation with this then. So you've gone for an early morning coffee or tea or whatever your morning beverage of choice would be in a coffee house. There's a queue, and in front of you in the queue is a person in their early 20s, and you overhear that they're on their way to their very first ever sales job. They start that day, and you've got the time it takes for that barista to make them their drink, 60 seconds, let's say, before they disappear out the door, to impart the best advice you could on them. We appreciate they've not asked for this advice, but you're going to give it to them anyway. What would you say to that person before they went out the door to their first sales role?
Number one hallmark of a professional is discipline, and show up every single day, do the work. They're going to give you a script. They're going to give you a process. You should be the first one of all the new hires who learns the script by heart. Learn the process by heart. Stay late, show up early. Make sure everybody knows that you seriously want to do the job. Master the process exactly as it's supposed to be done, and then you add your personality onto it after you master it perfectly. If you do that and you just continue to study, you keep showing up, find the best salespeople in there, take them to lunch, and ask them what it is about them that separates them from everyone else. You're probably going to hear about probably 3 things that separate them from everyone else. Heed their advice, follow that, and before you know it, somebody will be bringing you to lunch and asking you the same questions.
I think that's top advice, Dre. It reminds me of, saw a meme the other day, and it was always the guy who's just hit a 60 on the front nine at golf is always the one who wants to give you advice on your swing. And it's like, go and find the top salespeople. Go and ask them. That's the one. Dre, before we let you go, I'm going to go to Leon in a second for his top takeaways from our chat. If people have loved what you've had to say, and if they haven't, well, they're not allowed to listen to the podcast again. They're barred from the Sales Dojo. How can they go and find out more about you, your books, your website? Give us everything we can. PIN number for your cash card, everything that you want.
Well, I can give people a free copy of one of my books. Can I share that?
That'd be amazing, Dre. Yeah.
Sure. So one of my latest is perfect for your audience, the sales discipline system. The 8 key disciplines of the top salespeople in any industry to say goodbye to up and down months and inconsistent habits. And you see that keyword that I just mentioned, discipline. This is a key thing in everything that we do. And this is about doing your job as a salesperson, regardless of the industry, following your process, having a process, following your process. And if you stick to the script, as long as your product is any good, you will have success. So this book is free. We just ask people to cover the shipping. Just go to salesdisciplinebook.com. Other than that, they can find me on any social media platform. I'm on all of them. I am active on all of them. My profiles are all public. They can just look up my name, Dre, D-R-E, and my last name is Baldwin. I'm sure you all will have the links and all that in your descriptions.
We certainly do. Dre, thanks very much. I wanted to share some of them. Well, I've got about 3 pages of notes, so I can't share all of them because it'll be another 45 minutes before I get through them. My favorite bit, I mean, the first thing I'll say is we'll cut out the bit where you said you didn't know who Virgil van Dijk was, just in case he's listening and he hears you saying that.
All right.
Sorry, he won't really. He's a soccer player for Liverpool Football Club, Dre, if you're wondering. Addition by subtraction. I love that concept. I've never heard it phrased so simply, and often it is, you know certain things, but it's when someone else puts it in their tongue, it usually hits home much more. Taking the shit out instead of trying to put more stuff in. I really love that. I've sent you an email separately about confidence flakes. We'll get that on the market in the US and the UK. So we'll start flooding the market with them. I suspect they would probably work because actually a lot of people just need some kind of placebo thing to make them think they're actually more confident than they are. My absolute favorite bit of the whole conversation was you said everyone's in sales, either good or bad, but you can't avoid being in sales. And I thought that was a beautiful line. I've not got any of your books at all, which I'm ashamed to say, but I will make sure I find some of them on Amazon and get a copy and then maybe drop you a message and get you on again for a conversation about one of your books at some point. I think that'd be great.
That'd be excellent. Thank you. And if those confidence flakes taste like Frosted Flakes, then I might buy some myself. I don't even need cereal. I need those.
We could take it to the Shark Tank, see what they say.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Idea. Dre, can't thank you enough, pal. Enjoy the rest of your day in Miami. You've been listening to the Sales Dojo podcast. If you want to learn more about Dre, go and find his books. Go and find is it workonyourgame.com?
Yes.
Get onto workonyourgame.com or go and look him up on LinkedIn. If you want to know more about Leon, and why wouldn't you, eh? Go and look for Leon McCowan on LinkedIn. Or if you want to learn more about sales training from Six Door, just look for me, Chris Dawson. We can help you go and hit your targets, earn your commission, and go and buy those new shoes.